So when it comes to investing in multifamily apartments, a lot of people wonder, how do you guys find your deals? Like, how do you find the deals that you're going to do? What makes a great deal? And how do you actually identify it? So in this video, we're going to talk about how we find our deals, really 3 easy steps on how we go about that. Okay, so the first way we really find deals, and probably the way that is most common for us, is we really work with broker relationships. So what I mean by that is that in every market, you have certain brokers that handle apartments like this, and they have relationships with buyers and sellers. Particularly, if somebody's a group has owned a property in a certain area for a while, a lot of these brokers are very established in particular markets. And so, what's really interesting about working with brokers is that it's not really a fair game. It's really an insider's game. What I mean by that, when you have a single family house, it's not uncommon that the highest offer really is the one that gets taken. Well, with multifamily, especially large multifamily like this, it typically doesn't work that way. The way it usually works is the broker will call maybe a few people that are kind of on their short list they've been working with. Maybe these people they're calling have bought other properties in that particular area already. And the reason that they want to work with existing, buyers or people that they know are really good to close is because a property like this, it can take months to go through the process and to basically all the diligence. And they just want to make sure that the people that are buying, that they're serious. And so one of the differences when you have a single family house as a seller, the broker is legally obligated to bring any offers to you. That's something that they have to do legally. Well, with multifamily or commercial, that's not necessarily the case. They can actually withhold and not share that information. Well, why would a broker not want to share that information with somebody who is a seller? Well, the reason why is because they want to make sure that this property is going to sell. And even a lot of times the seller is actually really, even if there's a higher offer, they just want to make sure that this property, it's not going to be tied up for 2, 3, 4, 5 months. Sometimes, people come in and tie up a property, meaning they have it under contract and they don't end up closing, or they try to retrade, which means you try to kind of dicker with the price and try to nickel and dime different things. And so they want to go with the most sure group that they feel like is able to sell. So really how we get a hold of properties like this is we get to know brokers in that particular market that are working. We build that relationship with them. We obviously leverage our experience either in the local market or in other markets. And that's probably the biggest way that we find amazing deals such as this one. All right, so the second way that we really find a lot of deals, or the ways that we can find deals in great markets, is through off-market deals. A lot of people are familiar with off-market deals. And what that means is just something that's not being listed, it's not being promoted by a particular broker. So ways that we do that, we work sometimes with people that know somebody, or they have a relationship, or sometimes even a special situation. And sometimes this is also actually working with a real estate broker, but it hasn't necessarily gone out to the market. It hasn't gone, to email blasted out to everybody. And so a lot of these deals are also considered off-market deals. There are some groups that basically do, a bit of direct mail. Well, they'll send, mail out to different owners. They'll do a lot of networking, trying to figure out who, where people are. That's not stuff that we do a lot of, but sometimes through relationships or just even talking with other owners or things like that, different opportunities will come up to be able to find out about deals like this. And sometimes owners will not necessarily want the staff to know, because they don't want the staff to freak out or resign. And they also, may not want the tenants to know. So they'll want to sometimes keep it pretty secretive when they want to sell. So those are a couple of reasons why they'd want to go off market. Another reason is, let's say they have some unique situation where there's a lot of, they want a debt, a loan to be assumed at a certain level. So they have some unique things. Maybe they have to have, they want things to be taken care of a certain way. So those are a couple of things that reasons why people look for off market. And everybody knows that off market, sometimes you can find really great deals. So a number of our deals have been off market. And obviously there's advantage to going off market because you're not in a competitive situation. At the time of this video, we're seeing some of these properties when they go to market, meaning they're being widely marketed, it can be sometimes 20 to 30 or more offers. So the question goes is, why would a seller want to do something off market? Like I mentioned before, could be the specific situation. They don't want to notify everybody, or they just have a number in mind. The broker comes and says, hey, I can get you, $120,000 a door. And they're good with that. That's enough for them, rather than getting market price of 130 1,000 a door. So it is interesting, but we are able to find some great deals off market. And then instead of being, one of 30 offers at the table, literally, you can just literally be, the only offer, or maybe one of 2 offers. So it's actually a much, much better way for us, because we love finding those deals that are more off market. All right, so the third thing I want to say about how we find great deals in different markets is really that we are willing to look at a lot of deals. It takes a lot of work on the front end. A lot of people think you just make an offer, you get a property. It's really not the way it works. If you've tried to buy a house, or you've sold a house recently in at least the current market, you've seen basically that it's a very, very competitive market. So it's not uncommon. We'll look at dozens or even over 100 properties. We'll make offers on, 10, 20, 30 properties, and maybe get invited to the best and final, which is kind of the last round where they say, okay, give us your best and final offer. And then they look at, your track record and your ability to close, and how likely they think that you're going to be a great operator, a great sponsor for this property, and actually be able to pull it off. And so there's a lot of work that goes in on the front end, and there's a lot of properties that you chase that you don't end up getting. And we're seeing today, a lot of people are really overpaying for these particular properties. Now, why would somebody overpay? Well, maybe they have money they have to deploy. We try to not be in that situation where you just have a certain amount of money there that you have to deploy. Now, you see this sometimes with REITs. Now, you imagine a REIT is a real estate investment trust. They have billions of dollars, and they have to spend it. So sometimes they are willing to overpay because the money is just sitting there, and they have to deploy it. So sometimes there are larger groups, or for whatever reason, there's a 1031 exchange, which means one property is being exchanged tax-free to go into another deal. And so, but anyway, one way that you find great properties is you have to look at a lot of properties. Then you start to know really what properties are valued in that particular market. So in Atlanta, where this particular property is, if you look at a lot of properties in this part of Atlanta, you're going to get to know how much a property is worth. You're going to say, okay, based on these renovations that have been done, based on the current environment of the place, of the neighborhood, you're going to kind of really know what it's supposed to look like. So anyway, so these are some things that are really important to consider when, how people actually find great deals, or how groups find great deals in particular markets, really working with brokers, looking for off-market deals, and then just putting in a lot of work. So anyway, look forward to connecting with you. I'd love to know from you, maybe if you've found a great deal in multifamily, or if there's some things that you are interested in hearing us talk about when it comes to multifamily investing. Why don't you go ahead and put that in the comments. I look forward to seeing you on the next video.